Hey guys, welcome back to the Engineered Angler. We're out here on the Steenhatchee River. I'm slowly making my way out. So today is going to be a fishing day. Today we're going to fish with a lot of the lures we've made lately and some lures we made a while back. I'm about to get to the end of the no wake zone, so we'll talk some more once we get out there. And if you're new to the channel, my name's Franco. I'm a professional engineer, a lure designer and lure maker, and an avid fisherman. And this is where all that work in the lure shop really turns into fun and satisfaction. And I've done quite a few fishing videos, but it occurred to me that I really don't explain much when I'm out here fishing. So today I'm going to try to explain what flats fishing is all about, particularly fishing for speckled sea trout and redfish. And if we can find some flounder, we'll go after them too. I'm out here in about 4 feet of water. This is the Gulf of Mexico. We're in the Big Bend area, and the water depth doesn't change very much as you go out. You get about an extra 2 feet of depth for every mile you actually go out. So you can walk back from about 2 miles out. Now I like to start off my fishing day with something that casts a long way, and this is the lure that I put the weight shift chamber in. You got to really work to get the balls to the back. I think you can hear it. So this thing should cast a mile out here, but this way I'm covering a lot of water. This thing sinks fast. That means I can pull it in relatively quickly. I can cover a lot of ground. I'll do a fan casting pattern, and hopefully we'll find out if there's anything here. Now, just to let you guys know, I don't fish with natural bait most of the time. I almost always fish with hard baits. I'll throw some soft bait too, but I practically never throw either live bait or natural cut bait. Now, I don't have anything against it. It's a good way to catch fish. I just find it a little more enjoyable, especially since I make my own lure, to fish with hard baits and artificials. There's just a little more satisfaction to actually real active fishing where you're casting and retrieving and not just baiting and waiting. Now, right now it's almost low tide. It's about an hour and a half away from peak low tide, and typically I won't pin down. Out here in about 4 feet of water, I like to drift, and I'll pin down every couple hundred yards and fish the area. So most of the baits I use are twitch baits, which essentially have no diving bib on them, and you just twitch and pause, and the ticket, oh, there's a fish. There's a fish. Feels like a nice trout. So stay on, baby. That might be small. Yeah, there's a trout. I think he might be just short. We'll bring him on board. That's a pretty little fish. And you can see he's right at 15. So that's the limit, and I don't want to keep him that close. So let's go ahead and release. Yeah, and he's gone. So the ticket to fishing out here and finding the trout and not ending up catching a bunch of junk fish is getting the right pace. You don't want to be moving so fast that the only thing you attract is ladyfish and jack, but not so slow that you end up down at the bottom too long where the catfish will get it. So it's a matter of knowing the depth. Oh, there's another one. Oh, this one's a little better, I think. Yeah, this one's better. All right, we might need a net for this guy coming in. He's not huge, but he's a keeper, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna have to get the net and be very careful because he's not hooked that well. Yeah, he's not hooked that great. Oh, that's a good fish. Just a little bigger, I guess. It's not as big as I thought. So our glow-in-the-dark lure, it's doing the job. Get a measurement. He's 16 and a half. Well, I'm not gonna pull the pin up since we're catching fish, and I'm not going to change my lure since they seem to be liking this thing. So let's get it back out where we caught that one. They seem to be grabbing it when it's dropping it head down towards the grass. This lure drops about 2 feet per second. My normal lure designs for out here are right at about a foot per second, or it's just slightly less. A lot of people will argue with me and say long casts aren't really necessary. Half the time you catch fish right next to the boat. Well, the reality is that most of the time those fish have been following that lure for a long way. When you're in really shallow water and the water is clear, those fish know that you're there from a long ways away, and you end up with like a zone out here where the fish are slowly pushing away as you drift into them. And if you can't cast out to where they are, you're not gonna catch them. Or at least you'll reduce your chance of catching them. And it really helps that this lure looks like a mullet. It really does look like, especially in the water, darting around, it looks like an injured mullet. Well, the bite died off, so I decided to move into some water that was just a little clearer and a little bit shallower. All right, that looks a little better. In water this shallow, I can't use a lure that sinks fast, so I switched to a topwater lure. Oh, there we go. Oh, he hit that good. This one feels a little small. They're just so pretty in the water. They're just this golden hue. It just shine when they hit the sun. Just a really beautiful fish. All right, he's a little one, but he hit it like a boss. Such a pretty fish, but he's too small. All right, that was a little 14.5 incher. And I'm really happy with the spot I'm in. I mean, I'm in about 4 feet of water. It's just wall-to-wall grass. There's a few sand spots, which is perfect. And in this kind of spot, you just expect to catch one on every cast. But the bite has really slowed down with the change of tide. So I switched to the lure that's been the most productive I've ever had. That's my fat belly with the chrome and the green top. This thing, whenever I'm in doubt if there's fish, this guy will find them, if there are any. So when I'm fishing water that's got a lot of grass floating on it like this, I either have to switch to a weedless soft bait, or what I prefer to do is take my hard bait. And before I cast it out there, I want to see how long it takes to get to the bottom, because I don't want to move it until it gets almost to the bottom. So what I do is I let it drop, 3, 4, so about 5 seconds to the top of the grass. This way, I can just bomb it in and twitch below the grass. And this way, I stay below the grass, and I usually can get back without fouling. All right, well, the weather really just shifted around. I had a couple big squalls come by, and they're pouring rain over there, on land over there, and over there. And so I'm inside here, just about to go up into a creek, but this little corner of the creek right here is usually a pretty good little spot. So I'm gonna go ahead and toss the jumping topwater again. Now, I've been getting a lot of bites on topwater, very few really sticking. I've had a couple of jumps, a couple come off, and then another one gets on. It's been a little bit frustrating. I've caught a bunch of small ones, but let's go ahead and start off with this guy, and then we'll move on to a submerged lure. I was hoping that was a good spot. I think we got ourselves a little red. What is this? I think I foul hooked something. That was a trout. These topwater are just slapping at it and not getting hooked up well. He looks like he might be a keeper. I hope he is. Yeah, just at 16. I get so focused on using the same lure colors because I really believe in this chrome with the green top. You can see this one has been beat up pretty badly. There comes a point where you got to try something else. So let's go with something absolutely different. This is an ultraviolet paint job. You can barely see the scale pattern, but in ultraviolet light down in the water, the scale pattern really pops. Let's throw this thing and see what happens. So when I'm inside here, up in the creeks or just along the grass edges, I'm fishing this just like I would bass. I'm looking for points. I'm looking for shallow points. I'm looking for current running over shallow points. I'm looking for grass points that stick out into deeper water. Anything that can be an ambush point or a place of refuge. So this little grass point here has an oyster bar right out from it. And then there's another oyster bar, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like a light color that's just about 40 yards away. All right, we're hooked on something. I'm gonna have to pin down. This guy is gonna drag me into the shallows. This is a redfish for sure. coming my way now. Yeah, he's coming this way. Oh yeah, that's a nice red. Real nice red. Got one hook in him. Yes. Oh, yes. The pink lure works. Oh, he's a beast. I hope he's not oversized. I think he is. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's a good looking fish. He's too big. I don't want him to die. Oh, no. Look at that. 25. Perfect. That is a beautiful keeper fish right there. Well, I could keep fishing this edge and probably pick up another redfish, but I've already got my limit and I really do want more trout. So I'm gonna go ahead and brave the elements and head out into the wind and the chop. This weight shift bait that we made on a couple of videos ago really is kicking butt out here in the deeper water because it sinks head first and it goes down pretty quick. We're hooked into something. I don't know what this is. This is deep water, so I doubt very much it's a trout. Maybe a blue? Feels like a bluefish. All right. He's gonna get to go home. Not with me. He's gonna get to go home to his home. But he was fun to catch. All right, go home. Hook something. There he is. Tell you what, the skin on a shark is like sandpaper. You could actually sand down something with this. Pretty little guy. All right, time to go home. Off with top water again. And I think we finally found a trout on top water. Let's see if we can get him to the boat without ripping it out of his mouth. Oh, something else tried to bite him. All right. I think this guy might just barely make it. 15 3/4. That's another one. I think this is a nice one. I think. Oh yeah, this is a good one. Oh, that dude's at 19 if he's an inch. Woo! $19 and a half. All right, that's our 1/19. All right, let's switch back to the fat belly. I'd like to get one more trout. Man, the wind has really picked up. One more and I'm going home. The current's going out so fast that it actually has me sideways to both the wind and the chop. Oh my goodness. Look at this. This guy's oversized. I've already got 1/19. This guy's got to be 22, 23. Oh, jeez. Oh, easy. Oh yeah, this guy is oversized. That is a nice. Ooh, that is a very, very nice trout. Oh, what a shame. Let's get a length on this guy. He's 20 and a half. Fought like a 25 incher though. See ya, bro. All right, we're still looking for that final trout to complete the limit. Just need one under 19 inches. All right guys, I'm calling it a day. We came up with one short on the trout, but we got plenty of fish to put in the freezer. All right, we're back on land and we had a pretty good haul. I got a nice redfish and almost completed a 5 trout bag. We came up short because we were catching fish that were too big to keep. I'm gonna go ahead and clean these things and then we'll talk about what lures did the best and which ones really stood out. All right, those are the last fillets. All right, let's talk about the lures, who did what, which ones really brought home the bacon. Biggest trout goes to the fat belly. This is my silver-plated green top. It usually is absolutely the killer bait out there. With a rattle out there, it'll draw fish for miles. It didn't do as well yesterday as it usually does, but it did catch a couple of fish and brought in the biggest trout of the day. And biggest and only redfish of the day goes to this orange UV reflective. It doesn't have a rattle, but the UV reflective paint job I put on it, I did specifically for those muddy waters because visible light really doesn't penetrate through water very well, and especially not murky water. But the UV light gets through there, and this paint job will reflect that and make this lure a lot more visible. So I was happy to see it did the job. And then the workhorse of the day was the topwater lure. This guy caught most of the keeper trout, and it even caught a little shark. It's pretty rare that the topwater bite is better than the submerged bite, but yesterday was one of those days. And then the MVP is this guy. This is the weight shift. You can hear it go. The weight shift lure. This thing really did the job. I was able to cast it a mile and cover tons of water, and it dives fast enough that I could cover the whole water column pretty quickly on a pretty brisk retrieve, and it caught everything and really let me know when fish were there and I could switch out to the top water or just keep fishing this because it caught everything from pinfish to shark to bluefish, ladyfish, trout, you name it. I even had a pretty heavy flounder on this thing and it got off close to the boat. All right guys, before I say goodbye, I just want to let you know I'm going to be doing an update on the condition of my rowboat to bass boat conversion. I've got some work to do to it, and I've got some things that I learned that I could have done better and some materials I used that weren't the best. That's going to be coming up in the next few weeks, so keep an eye out for it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the comments, and thank you to everybody who's sharing this stuff with your friends and elsewhere on social media. I'll see you guys next Friday.